Recently, I got into a whole thing about what if the light isn't real? What if the light is in fact a Titan time construct and the true light, the fiery, uncontrollable light, has been held back from us this entire time? Hidden beneath the shadows, whatever you want to say. Well, a lot of people commented on that video saying, but what about the Naru? Are you saying the Naru are fake? Are they something else? What if I told you the Titans created the Naru? That's right. Pyro has a theory here. I'm going to break it down with him. Let's see what he has to say.
Another thing that we're going to get into today is where the Naru come from. I believe that the Naru, at this point, I think that it is reasonable and timeline-wise, I think it lines up. And I think that hints that are referring to this situation also line up with the origin of the Naru being the Titans. The Naru were forged, according to Zira, the Light Mother, during the Great Ordering of the Cosmos.
Sure. Yeah, Great Ordering. Yeah, very Titany already. Order Titans. Done. I can cancel the whole video. We already know that they made them. That's it. No, I did want to say one real quick thing. I did always think it was really weird that when we were getting all like the pillars of Azeroth or whatever, that that Naru, that piece of the Naru, was sitting with Odin. Kind of weird, and we use it in the fight and everything to defend ourselves, but it was really weird that Odin had a piece of a Naru. Why was that there? I never understood that story. But anyways,
Naru
maybe that'll come up
came
later.
And rescued the Eridar in like the last moment to save them from the Legion.
That's right.
I believe the Titans took Void, which in its origin, this does not have to be mutually exclusive. What we know about the light and then the void happening does not have to be untrue. The Titans, listen, Xal'atath has a whisper that talks about, it's in the Netherlight Crucible.
I think he's hinting at the Naru being created from the void, the Titans creating Naru from void, which would make sense as to why they bounce between void and light. They have those issues all the time. I'll let the man cook.
It talks about how she says their research into the void here is commendable, but ultimately futile. How could they possibly hope to understand what the Titans could not? And I think Xal'atath is lying. I think that line in particular is a lie. It might be true. Let's pretend for a second that it is, but I think it is probably a lie. It works either way. If the Titans do not understand the nature of the void, then I think it unlikely that they would have been able to craft the Naru. However,
yeah,
I believe that they do have the ability. I think that they do understand what the void is.
I think they have a decent understanding of the void too.
The Holy Naru.
I mean, one reason why the whole Burning Crusade occurred and Sargeras went on his killing spree of planets was because he had realized what the void was. He understood their plan, supposedly. He realized what the old gods were and everything and what could happen to Titans or world souls. We don't know if they're Titan souls anymore, but world souls. And that was what led him to his mad crusade, where he just started chopping planets in half. So no, the Titans do, in fact, have an understanding of the Naru, of the void. And whether or not Xal'atath was lying or just didn't know that, those could be, two different things.
Are basically a counter.
Yes, exactly. The Dreadlords revealed the truth to Sargeras, so at least Sargeras knew. We know that. He knew what the void was.
To the Legion. So as Sargeras creates his demonic burning legion, so too have the Titans forged these beings of light, most likely out of the void, by the way, and sent them out to act as shepherds and saviors of mortal races, specifically like the Eridar, right? The Naru create two different factions. One is those who go with the Dahl in the Genadar and Velen and leave Argus and try to escape. And then there are those who go with Zira on the Zenadar and become part of the Army of the Light, which then stays around specifically to fight the demons. The Army of the Light exists specifically to fight the demons.
True.
They are fighting against them all the time. But Sargeras had considered the light to essentially be not an issue, that he had essentially defeated it. So what I'm getting to is that, like, essentially you have these orderly crystal beings of light and feel-good energy.
Let's also not forget the ones who stayed behind with Zira and created the Army of the Light to fight against the demons. This fucker. This guy's still there. I still think there's a role to be played with Lothraxian, man. A Dreadlord infused with the light is just straight blasphemy. Let's not forget the Nathrazim. They are everywhere. The Dreadlords are everywhere. They have infiltrated every aspect of this universe and our universe and every other universe. And I still find it very interesting that there was a Dreadlord remaining behind with Zira. Maybe it has something to do with all this.
That ultimately will go to Void. Like, we know that will happen. We know, and the NAARU themselves have even admitted it, that the natural progression will shift them into Void. And that something will have to replenish the light inside of them in order for them to return to the light.
Right.
We have seen this occur with alternate Velen and alternate Draenor when he restores the Dark Star by sacrificing himself to do it. We know that it can be done.
Mm-hmm. It can be done.
On the note of NAARU and their changing light, I do think that the crystal in the sky in Hollowfall is a NAARU.
I was just thinking
I do think that it is on the precipice of turning into Void, or as though it were kind of a light that perhaps is almost about to burn out. It's kind of flickering back and forth between, because this is happening randomly. However, I will say that it would not surprise me if things that we do in the zone act as worship to it and somewhat replenish the light within it in some capacity. Perhaps things that we kill are doing something that will do
Does
that.
worship replenish
I'm almost
the light?
certain that it's a NAARU, because we have evidence of them acting and behaving in this way before. Although it does take a very long amount of time normally, we do learn from Locust Walker and Legion that the influence of mortals greatly accelerates this transition. We know that to be true.
Oh, really?
So, we're going to talk more about that. The themes of Dragonflight should be telling you something about the Titans. That is that the Titans will not just resort to arcane magics to wrest control. I want to make like a conceptual point about some cosmic forces really quick while we have the opportunity. So,
real quick, just on what he was saying there, Harrowfall and this crystal, switching between void and light. There is a constant battle going on here. If you don't know how this zone works yet, when this thing shifts to void, all the Nerubians and everybody start attacking, and then all of the Arathi humans that live here have to play defense and basically push back against their invasion. So there is some kind of struggle going on between the void and the light here. And whether or not this is a NAARU yet, we don't know. It's not confirmed, nor has it been denied. But we do know that the humans that originally came to this zone came here because of a dream of a falling star. They had a dream of a falling star, and it led them to this zone, and eventually where they found this crystal. So it is shifting, and it's interesting.
Order
What up, Yadap?
is something that can exist as a part of other cosmic forces. Disorder is something that can exist as a part of other cosmic forces.
Yes.
For example, life is more disorderly and chaotic than death. Death is far more uniform, far more orderly. To an extent, far more predictable. Death is a form of order.
Yeah.
Also, light.
He's right about that. Oh, I mean, I want to hear what he says about light, but real quick, he is right about that. And one thing that I've been starting to iterate here is life in the way we had it originally, the way the humans were created and everything. That is an ordered form of life, right? Before we got the curse of flesh. But here's the thing about curse of flesh. The way it's told to us, the Titans call it the curse of flesh, but really it's the gift of free will. That's what it should be called. Because at the end of the day, it gave us free will, and that's disorder. You know, you can't have free will and have order at the same time. That's disorderly. We went from being these stony boys who had no conscience, just followed direction, to fleshy creatures that have a free will. So this whole curse of flesh thing, that's just something that the Titans told us to call it. But in actuality, it is the gift of free will. That was what was given to us by the old gods.
The holy light is a form of order. The void is a form of disorder.
Now, I disagree with him on one point here. The holy light, yes, is a form of order, but it is not the true light. I believe the true light, as I said in my previous video, is a form of disorder. It is a fiery light, and that's the kind of light that the Paladins and things are playing with in this zone. They literally power their airships with fiery light. That's how it's described. And fire is very disorderly, uncontrollable. So I believe the true light has been hidden from us this entire time, and it is a very disorderly thing. That's why the Titans have hidden it from us and given us this fake light, this light that actually has to do with time. It's more time magic than it is light magic.
In that it is entropy made manifest, and that the light is stasis made manifest to a degree. So I'm saying this because while the cosmic forces are uniquely identifiable on their own, some of their traits actually apply to each other. And I'm saying this because something that you can infer from this is that because the Titans canonically swore an oath to protect life whenever possible,
yes,
Titans would likely attempt to always utilize forms of order
true,
that do not cause harm to life.
okay.
That would mean
okay.
that the Titans generally would seek to, I would posit then, utilize forms of order other than, and I want to express as well that order magic is not very different, if really different, from domination magic.
Yeah.
You're essentially commanding the matter, the time and space in front of you, to adhere to your will.
Yeah, well,
When a mage casts...
domination magic is rune magic, and we know now that rune magic really comes from the Titans. So yes, they do use that. And when talking about protecting life and using order to do so, it does make sense. I mean, if anyone has kids, it's you want to protect them, and the way you do that is by creating rules and order in your home, right? It's very hard to protect them when disorder is occurring and everything's just going wild. Are we saying the Titans are not bad guys after all? Maybe they're just creating order to protect us? Let them run wild? Yeah. Great sweatshops. There you go.
Fire spell. It is not...
You can't have complete
pulling it
order.
from the elements.
You're right, Achilles.
Like a shaman does.
Or you'll like stunt their
A
growth.
mage is bending reality. A mage is essentially ordering the matter to act in a certain way.
Yeah. Well, essentially, what does a mage do? They use arcane magic, and that's what the Titans are actually made of. The Titans are arcane magic. That's what they are. They are created from arcane, and using arcane is basically a way to, like when the difference between when a fire mage uses fire, or when a shaman uses fire. A shaman is working with the elements, kind of bending them, and then using them. A fire mage is actually using arcane magic to harness and control the power of fire and then use it. It's a much more controlling magic than what a shaman uses. And the arcane is, in essence, a titan. That's what they are.
So, keep in mind a couple things.
You didn't know that, did you?
While the void is chaos, we know that there is a natural, natural or unnatural, however you want to call it. We know that there is a fluctuation that occurs between the light and the void. We know that where light exists,
Yeah.
eventually, like
One
a
begets the
Naru,
other.
for example, it will fade into void. Now, I think that this is because the Naru essentially are like batteries, okay?
Yeah.
And they get powered up, I would assume, with souls and or a life, as we see Velen again give himself to replenish the Naru.
That's true.
They were forged by someone or something during the great ordering of the cosmos that has...
By the way, I don't know if it's souls that power the Naru, but I think it is kind of like a worship. And the reason why Velen's sacrifice really saved him is, what is the ultimate form of worship? It's like it's sacrifice, right? He sacrificed himself for his belief in the purity of the Naru, and that was a huge event that re-empowered the Naru and basically gave it like a 100x worship boost. So I think that's what it is. Now, I'm interested to see what he says about the gift of the Naru and how the Draenei use that.
knowledge of the conflict of the Burning Legion and of the Titans. This is important because the Naru didn't... I was under the impression for a while that the Naru didn't, like, that they weren't like a new thing to the Eridar. For some reason, I had thought that the Naru had been a part of the Eridar on Argus for like a long time.
Confirmed, yeah.
But then I started reading into that more, and that's actually not true. The more I realized how short notice the Naru actually showed up, the more I realized that they like barely made it in time. Like something literally made the Naru and sent it to the Eridar specifically for the purpose of combating the Legion and saving the Draenei and taking them away and keeping life, helping life, carry on.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, he's right.
This is like this kind of like alarmed me because I was like, wait a second. If this is the case, if the Titans would be willing to utilize order outside of just the arcane, and we just discussed that light is a form of order, then the Titans would certainly be willing to use light. In fact,
Might be
perhaps even because of the nature of the light, the Titans would feel good about using it. When you read through the Dreadlord book that comes from Shadowlands and it talks about them infiltrating all the different cosmic forces,
Yeah.
the way that it talks about the light is really important, and I'm going to get to that today. But it talks about how as long as the light believes it's right, that's what matters. And I think Zira is a super interesting and important expression of that. Zira is actually special when we're on the talking point of a Naru. Zira is the prime Naru, the Light Mother.
Yeah.
She is one of the first to be forged during, like I said, what is known as the Great Ordering of the Cosmos. Mm-hmm. Now, some of you will think that this is tinfoil, and I don't blame you. But when you look at the runes over Zira's head...
Look at those runes.
I've said this before. They look like the letters.
Sounds like he has the same sickness as me. But yeah, those runes, man. Damn. Fucking everywhere you see runes, it's likely that Titan magic is, in fact, being used. Or some type of Titan influence. And somebody just mentioned it in chat, but I was hinting at it. Yes, Gift of the Naru, when it is used, right? If you don't know, the Gift of the Naru is a blessing bestowed upon by the divine Naru upon the Draenei, and all Draenei can use it, it can tap into this blessing to heal injured allies. What does it look like? What does it look like when a Draenei uses the Gift of the Naru? Yep, that's right. A little rune floats above their forehead. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Anywhere you see runes, remember this, anywhere you see runes, likely Titan influence.
O-E-R-A-N.
What up, Tweet?
Which is very obviously an anagram for Aeonar. Okay? If Aeonar wants to keep life alive, right, and wants to stop what the Burning Legion is doing, which is canonically accurate, then the Naru would very well serve the purpose of doing so. They are freaky, however, because we know that inevitably what happens to them. They descend to void. They turn into void. And like Locust Walker says, when mortals are around, this happens even faster. Wasn't Zira killed? Yes. You know why Zira was killed? Because Zira was looking for Illidan's Stormrage. Because Illidan's Stormrage had a soul that was forged as well during the Great Ordering of the Cosmos that had a preordained destiny written upon it. And Illidan did not want that. That's the whole shtick with Illidan's character trope. His free will, right? His destiny is his own. He is his scars, right? It's not about the fate which light has determined for him. It's about what he wants, what he thinks is right. You know, it's his decision. It's about freedom. Illidan is a big freedom guy. He likes freedom big time. So think about this. Illidan is up on the seat of the Pantheon. If he starts hearing the Titans talk about things that don't really sound like freedom, Illidan's...
I was saying Illidan. Yeah, Illidan is in fact, not curse of flesh, gift of free will. Remember what I said about that. Yeah, he's all about free will. He doesn't like his predestined. He felt like he could create his own destiny. And that was more important than the one that was preordained for him. And I was just saying that, Illidan is a night elf who comes from trolls. Trolls are original race of Azeroth, not really a free will race, like not really a curse of flesh race, but you get what I'm saying. Free will is always anti-Titan.
Probably not going to like that. Illidan is not going to... If the Titans start going, yeah, we're going to control... Like, now you're fucked, Sargeras. If that occurs, like, they're not going to... He's not going to like that. And I also hate to say this, guys, but when the Titans return Sargeras to the seat of the Pantheon...
Yeah.
The beam that is, like, flying down upon him does not dissipate instantly. It's not like it just teleports him there. It's it's like hitting him. And I didn't consider this possibility until very recently, but I think that they may be ordering him right then and there.
Ooh.
And I think that
putting some order magic down in him. By the way, I mentioned it last time we talked about Zira and her whole thing with Illidan, trying to heal his scars. Like I said before about the light magic and how we don't use the true light, and everything about the Naru and the light is a lie, because the true light is disorderly, and we're about to find that out when we go to Harrowfall. But here's the thing. She was trying to heal his scars. Scars are, in fact, unhealable. That's why it's called a scar. It's there after the healing process has occurred. It'll last forever. You can't heal a scar. The only way to get rid of a scar is to go back in time, to reverse time, and stop the scars from ever forming. That's why her magic was going to be able to heal his scars, because her magic, her light magic, light in general, is not the true light that we use. It's not the true light. It is time magic, created by the Titans. It just reverses time. That's how it heals. And the true light has been hidden from us, but we're about to find it. We're about to find it.
Illidan ends there.
Anduin specifically is going to find it.
Because you're not meant to see what is underneath the beam of light. But Illidan is going to find out, and I think when that beam of light fades, it is going to become very evident to Illidan that that is not Sargeras anymore. Not the Sargeras that he knows at all. I'm really worried that...
It'd be interesting if that light beam was reversing time, taking Sargeras back to prior to his corruption.
That it's too late.
More evidence of time magic, just saying.
As the scene fades to Velen and Magni and Khadgar standing on the Vindicar, it gets really bright. Like, really bright. And, there is that saying that the stars burn their brightest just before they go out. And it just freaks me out, because if Sargeras is a pure expression of disorder, of chaos, then that's pretty antithetical to what the Titans would want. And that does imply, and as we've seen with domination magic before, when someone is under the effects of domination magic, they're not really themselves anymore. if the Titans created the Naru, then what we know about the Void is technically true. That Void Lords do exist.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dreadlords say as much in their writings.
Yeah.
What if Naru are naturally void and Titans just flip them? Think about this. Is a Naru the result of the Titans trying to order
Void.
entropy itself?
Trying to
Is
order
that
disorder.
why Xalatath sees, and why the Void sees the Naru as simply beloved brethren who have lost the true path? They'll return in time, though. I don't think the Void is actually concerned about the light.
Maybe.
Because if the light fades away, the Void exists anyways. You can't have one without the other. That's been made very evident to me. The Naru make that super fucking clear. So when people say like, oh, well, what's above the Naru? Like, what's the light equivalent of a Void Lord? It's a Naru. It is a Naru. Like the crystal, the order itself. Think about this.
Wait, and Naru would be the equivalent of a Void Lord? Maybe? I mean, some people think Titans are the equivalent of old gods, but I don't think they are. They're so much more powerful than old gods. Literally ripping them out of planets, ripping them apart. They're so much more. They're so much stronger. So I always kind of thought that maybe Titans were the equivalent of Void Lords, but Void Lords are slightly more powerful than them. Yeah, I don't know.
Think about like taking entropy itself, putting it into a form of order, hence the crystalline structure, and then charging it, creating holy light. And that appears to be this great thing, but we know that when it runs out, it inevitably goes back to void. And then what happens to like spirits and souls of the dead that are nearby if a void Naru is nearby? Do you guys know what happens? They get pulled into it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. True.
Because it's fuel. They're trying to power back up. They sing a song of sadness because they're like a battery with no energy anymore. And then eventually, what do they turn into? The entropy within them breaks down the crystal and they turn into a Void Lord. Or, I posit, back into a Void Lord.
Okay.
The Titans not understanding the Void is a lie from Xalatath. It's not true. They do understand it.
It's either a lie or she just doesn't know. She doesn't know the truth.
They do. They have to if they created Naru. They have to. They get freed. Exactly, Jesus from space. Thank you. And that's a big theme with the light and the void. When you look at the light and the void, which one of them embodies freedom?
The void.
And which one of them embodies servitude?
The gift of free will or the curse of flesh. It's the gift of free will. Man, I said it before I even started watching this video, and look how that theme has run through this entire video. Gosh. I am of the void. I could predict the future.
So you're seeing America. So if you look at it in this way,
America's
you can
from the
start
void,
to see how light is stasis and order, and how it is also, like beneficial for life in a sense. I think that the Titans are responsible for the Burning Legion, the existence of it, the Naru, the Wild Gods, the Titans, of course. I think that they're responsible for the Old Gods. And ultimately, in a sense, if you want to really put it this way, they're kind of responsible for the undead as well.
But by the way, real quick on this one, you guys see where the light is here? You see where the light is? Do you see where the Titans are? Clearly very far apart from each other, right? Very far apart. In fact, arcane, complete order, and all that, that's what that represents. And the Titans represent order. That's closer to the void than it is to the light. What is close to the light? Fire. The fire. The fel. Disorder. That's right. Remember when I told you in the last YouTube video I posted about this stuff, about the light not being real? is the true light is very fiery. Doesn't this look like a sun too? The true light is very fiery and disorderly. Yeah, kind of like fel fire too. It's very interesting when you look at how these things are laid out in proximity to each other. What is closer to the light and what is further away?
It's kind of all their fault.
A lot of evidence
When I look at the cosmology chart from
for the Legion.
Shadowlands, look at how they do this. Light, death, order. They're all on the same side. Shadow. Actually, wait, no, it's like this. It goes like this: shadow, order, death. Pardon me, like this.
Yeah. Okay.
Light, disorder, life. The actual orientation here makes more sense to me. Actually, I actually agree with this.
Again, fire, disorder.
I mean, yeah, I agree a lot with this. What they say in Shadowlands about the first ones is that they made life and death the core of their cycle. I'm not so sure about the truth of that, and I do still think there's a possibility for, if they want to retcon the first ones, I do think that they can turn them into, the Azeroth if they want to. Like, I think that they could still spin it that way, unless they want to just hard retcon that shit. But then you also have your opposites, right? But look at what they have representing for Shadow. Like these overgrown worlds here. This one's pretty interesting. I would say the Titans are every bit of an invasion force as the Burning Legion. Absolutely. So let me tell you this.
Yeah,
some people think the Shadowlands story is corny. We're going to get into Anduin Ren in a little
Lucas, thank you for the sub, man. Death Knight of our Scourge, thank you for using your Prime here.
bit, but I want you to think about the possibility that they separated him from
Bringing
the light,
gift of the light
on purpose. I want you to think about the potential that Anduin Ren's story arc required him to be severed from the light. And I want you to think about
the
why.
fake light. Required him to be severed from the fake light so he could find the real light when he goes to Harrowfall. The true light, the flaming light, the ultimate powerful light.
Why would they do that?
Just saying.
Anduin Ren was just forced into domination by the jailer. He's never going to want to live like that ever again. He understands the true horror of being forced to do things with absolutely no willpower of your own. It's terrifying. Anduin saw all of it. You think that he would let the light come in and do the same thing? Fuck no. Anduin is being severed from the holy light because they are oppressors too. They are control. They are order. And moving forward, they're going to be presented that way. Trust me. It's about to get fucking crazy in the WoW universe because they're not hiding this anymore.
They're not hiding it. The fact that our light is the fake light, fiery light, is the true.
They're not hiding what the Titans have been doing anymore. They're putting it right in front of your face. These guys, I hate to say this, chat, but the Titans have beat every cosmic force.
They have.
They beat the Legion. They beat death.
By the way, some people are like, okay, then how are Paladins going to continue forward if they find out they've been using the fake light? Well, they can be lightsmiths, they can be Templars, or they could be a herald of the sun, a very fiery light. It looks like the respecking and the hero talents are going to fit in quite well with the story and the fact that Paladins are about to discover a new form of light. Interesting. A true light.
They literally, the void doesn't even matter because they can turn it into light and use it as their own tool. They control everything at this point. What stands in the way of the Titans?
Nothing. The Void Lords, maybe?
Who opposes them anymore? Me? Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. But I'm concerned that the characters in the game don't know. That's what's terrifying, is that they don't know.
They definitely don't know.
The characters are unaware. And so I worry that by the time that the revelation comes, that it's going to be too late. That their inherent drive for domination and control is what has caused so much suffering. Also, here's the explanation for the Dreadlords while we're on the topic of the Naru and Light, since it relates. Prince Renethal says, countless ages ago, just after the first Venthyr were sired, Denathrius unveiled another creation, the Nathrazim. Forged to be the ultimate infiltrators, they bore the influence of death into the realms of our rivals, as well as the worlds of the living. Despite their subtlety...
Yes, they are the ultimate infiltrators. The ultimate infiltrators, right back here. Right. So they can infiltrate so deep and so well that they literally could be on the opposing force in plain sight, hiding. Come on, man. Come
One
on,
of these
man.
incursions was discovered. I'm of the opinion that this was on purpose.
Come on, man.
In response, the full wrath of the light fell upon Revendreth, setting ablaze the ward once held by the Nathrazim. The armies of Maldraxxus did not rise up to defend us. Holy shit, it's because the Primus. Holy...
Oh my God, he's right. He's right. We just had an entire conversation about the Primus actually being the true jailer, the one behind everything that got fucked up in the Shadowlands. And it would have been his job to save Revendreth when shit was hitting the fan, when Sire Denathrius' plan was starting to reveal itself, and he took no action. Because he's a corrupt bitch. The jailer was, Zoval. He just got played. Who'd he get played by? The Primus.
Yo, this Primus thread line, you're fucking my brain up with the Primus. Holy shit.
Yep.
They did not rise up to defend us, so the Stone Right carved her Stone Legion to strike back against the light. The Primus wouldn't commit an affront against the light because the Primus put the light at the head of the Shadowlands.
That's right.
No pun fully intended. Yeah, look at that. We literally made a light creature the head of the Shadowlands, Jesus. And the Primus is the architect of this occurring.
It's all connected.
Is fucking nuts, dude.
It's all connected.
Zoval being manipulated by the Primus is one of the most gigabrain fucking storylines ever. But it was just...
It saved Shadowlands. It saved Shadowlands. We talked about this. The Zoval being manipulated by the Primus, and the Primus being the actual one behind everything that happened, and him playing, this chess game where he in fact was just seeing how far he could get Zoval to go, and how much success Zoval would have without ever revealing himself, but in fact showing himself as this poor little prisoner who has nothing to do with any of this shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Remember what I said about runes being connected to the Titans, and we know that? Who is the master of rune magic in the Shadowlands? The Primus.
It was depicted so...
I got you going so hard there. I did Jugga
Let's
juice.
go party people. The Primus was behind it all along.
That's right, Jugga. Thank you for the sub, and you are correct. You are correct. All these little lie threads, they're all starting to come together.
Oh, poorly. Fuck. When Sargeras came to the world of Argus and began convincing the Eridar to join the Burning Legion, Velen, one of the 3 Eridar leaders, prayed for help. The Naru appeared to him in visions, offering to take Velen and any other like-minded Eridar to safety. Velen and his faction accepted, and the Naru came to rescue Velen and his followers with a dimensional ship named the Genedar. They thus began to call themselves the Draenei, meaning the exiled ones in Eredun. The Genedar then split into 2 different ships, the Genedar and the Zenedar. The Draenei who boarded the Zenedar would become the Lightforged, and went their separate ways, with the former fleeing across the cosmos and the latter openly striking back and fighting the Legion. So the ship that Zira, the Light Mother, had, turned... So the ship that had Zira, the Light Mother, on it, turned into Lightforged fanatics who were bent on fighting the Legion.
Yeah.
The lore here is kind of crazy too. Tuure. Tuure was a powerful Naru who sacrificed its own life energy to save the planet Karkara from the monstrous Dementius, the All-Devouring. This to me sounds like a one-to-one exchange to an extent. 1 Naru for 1 Void Lord. Shattered itself into fragments in the process. Even broken, Tuure's light was undiminished, and its fellow Naru were soon drawn to its remnants, gathering the fragments and gifting them to various races that they believed showed potential for good. So right here, it kind of sounds like the 1 powerful Naru versus 1 powerful Void Lord. The largest piece...
Right. That makes sense.
...was passed to the Eridar of Argus. It is said that the shard plummeted from the sky like a falling star. Remember with this thing in Hollowfall? It is said that this shard of Tuure... Now, it's much smaller, but... You gonna tell me that's not Naru?
I think it is, probably.
Oh boy.
Probably.
Oh boy. You guys are like, oh, it cycles from light to darkness. Why does that happen? Because it's teetering on the balance of light and void. And that in there, I'm sure, is probably a Naru. A fat Naru. So what do you think the deal was that Sargeras offered three brothers? Power beyond anything they ever witnessed, which was technically accurate. And also, Velen, Archimonde, and Kil'jaeden are not brothers. The truth is that Thalkiel was contacted way before the three of the Triumvirate. Archimonde learned of it next, and since Archimonde had learned of it before the other two, he was the first to accept Sargeras' offer. Then, finally, Sargeras revealed himself to all three of them. Velen was immediately like, nah, because the Naru had given him visions of them turning into demons. So, again...
So Sargeras was revealing the truth to them, and Velen was the one who didn't believe him because a Naru had given him visions of them turning into demons. So it was a Naru who was, in fact, keeping him from the truth. That makes sense.
When I talk about how the
What up,
Naru
Beody?
seem to be they were created literally to directly counteract the Legion, I'm not
Yeah.
fucking joking.
Yeah.
When it's
It makes
talking
sense
about
now.
an unstoppable army of the light fighting back against disorder, the Naru arriving just in time to save the Draenei, and all of this leading to the invasion of the Burning Legion coming to Azeroth, because remember, the fucking Legion followed the Draenei to Draenor, and then they came fucking here through the Dark Portal. This is all connected. It is all connected to the same plot thread.
It's all connected.
The Naru are definitely the living will of the Titans. Like, they are definitely shepherds sent by ANR in order to keep the Draenei alive and use them as a means to fight back against the Legion. Doesn't Xalatath or another Void Naru mention not hating the Light Naru? I actually missed this when we were talking. Oh, that they just strayed from the path? Yes, that is correct. This is correct. I don't know if I addressed that in the moment, but Xalatath does say, yes, that they don't see them. Xalatath says that though the Naru may see us as like horrors to be like, you know, refused or something like that, we don't share that view. We just simply see them as brethren who have lost the true path, and they will return to their masters in time. So... Dude, the likely... Oh my goodness, that's crazy. If they tried to order entropy and that's why this occurred, that'd be fucked. But let's keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Shinzai linked this. I always hated
Dude, there's all kinds of clues about the Naru in different weapons and stuff. I mean, we saw a lot of it in Legion, but look at this one. Any of you priests ever used the Turu beacon of the Naru? Look at its description. Your holy ward spells have a chance to summon an image of Turu at your side to aid you in combat. Tell me this isn't a line that describes order being brought from reordering void into light. Blessed are the torchbearers who bring light to the darkness. If the Naru were in fact created by the Titans, by in fact ordering void into light, wouldn't they be the ones who bring light into darkness? Oh God.
the way this is described. Psychotic propaganda. Lordaeron and
It's the Holy Priest
Light.
artifact weapon.
After the Troll Wars, a number of human priests began having faint visions and dreams of angelic beings, geometric forms that thrummed with living light. Who in the fuck is responsible for the Naru? For the Naru, can I hear it at one time from the chat? Can I hear an A&R from the chat right now? One time, please. Can I get an A&R in the chat? One time for the one time right now, please.
An A&R in the
What
chat.
the fuck? Although they did not know it, the priests had actually communed with the Naru in the Great Dark Beyond. Through this connection, the Naru guided the hearts of some humans and introduced them to the holy light. From their tenuous encounters with the
fake
Naru,
light.
the priests learned to harness the extraordinary healing effects of the light. They also formed a religious movement founded on the tenets of justice, peace, and altruistic works. Popular among common folk, this movement flourished. They fucking put a cult inside humanity
Yep.
and then fucking made it explode.
Yep.
I said this is the ordering of the human civilization. They're forcing their way in. It's subtle and kind, but it's dangerous.
It was their way to reorder the human civilization because the original humans were the, stony boys who were completely under control, lacked free will. And then the gift of free wills was given to us by the old gods, not the curse of flesh. The gift of free will was given to us, and then this was their way to kind of reorder us, to bring us back into line.
This is why I say this Midnight X-Pack is bait. because the light and the void are both essentially the same tangible threat. But the light will come first.
Seat of the Pantheon.
By the way, did like anyone not realize that Magni just shot a fucking load as soon as he got literal happened? Like
The seat of the Pantheon.
never caught that before. Loud. It's clearly arcane magic. That's not light magic or anything else that would be related. That's arcane. What's arcane magic? It's order magic.
That which you have stolen will be your undoing. Rise, Argus. Rise, my broken world.
You're right, son.
Mortals, the time has come to fight for the fate of your world.
He's just using us. Just using us to fight for the fate of his world.
I don't like the way he words that.
Yeah.
You have done well, mortals.
It is time.
We must gather our strength.
Just more runes everywhere. Just more runes.
Return home, children of Azeroth.
He's like, get
And
the
look
fuck
at this.
out.
The light is on their fucking seat.
Yep.
It's on their seat. It's literally right there. And they don't give a shit. Because they know exactly what it is. They know exactly what is going on right here. They're in control of this entire situation.
It's popping off.
Illidan, we've done all we can.
Velen, fuck you. Don't try to get him to leave with you. This motherfucker needs to stay here so that when he finds out that they're gonna try to fucking light forge our-
He's saying fuck you to him. I will just say that I think Velen falls into ignorance. He's not bad. He's just ignorant.
planet or whatever they're gonna do, that someone can do something.
Every choice,
He's our Gen Kerrigan.
every sacrifice.
That saves us from the endless cycle of Amon.
To face him.
The light has struck a bargain with the enemy of all. The enemy of all being order. Literally not liking, they want to control everything.
Yep. They want to control everything. And if you don't remember, let me remind you. There's an old comic of Anduin and Velen talking about the final battle. The light will triumph over the shadow this day. Let it begin. Now, if you watched BlizzCon, you'll know that already Chris Messa did say that in Midnight, we will side with the light and try and push back the shadow. All that's going to happen. All these things are coming to fruition. Light and shadow. Very interesting stuff. The Naru being created from the void. Oh my god. What does it all mean? They can't control Illidan. Well, Illidan's always been anti-control. And I think he's going to be talking to Sargeras for a little while. And whatever comes out of those conversations could be very interesting. But great video. I do think the Naru are what he's saying they are, and more to come. More to come.